Um, and just to loop into that, I think Alex Perrine made this incredible find. I think it was a letter to the New York Times of some guy who was like, look, in 68, I was out on the streets because of the war in Vietnam and because of civil rights. Now I'm immunocompromised. So I'm at my summer home in Connecticut. Basically, please don't damage my Union Square apartment. And what I loved, but Perrine was totally right. And this is actually, I mean, I think this is a serious tension that needs to be thought through, frankly, between like the duality of everyone needs to come together and also like the people who are the most murdered, profiled, and terrorized, and also like the downwardly mobile PMC. You know, that's something that needs to be explored. But one of the things that Perrine said, which I was not even funny, just true, that like the decision to not make the guy who is the equivalent of this person in 1968 have a second house in Connecticut is going to lead to this it's just going to keep going. Like, you fucking idiots, you didn't throw any crumbs.
Yeah. And the thing is that that's now off the table. You know, right. Like those 60s kids, they stopped. Like, what was the response? The riots in the cities, white people just left. And then the white people who were protesting, they stopped the draft. And then they went and lived in those suburbs. A lot of those options are off the table because there's just not the money to go around, because we're in this clear, defined phase where capitalism is seeking profit through cannibalism. It's cannibalizing the things that make the country work, that make it functional, and that make capitalism a viable economic model, which it inevitably would still do everywhere, but which has in America been staved off for generations by neo-imperialism, by the petrodollar, by the Bretton Woods system, whatever. That is all breaking up because we now have we finally have, in effect, a global market. And there are really no more markets to that you can, because to really create markets in places that are under capitalized would require an investment of capital that would be over and above what is even in profit right now. So there's nothing to do. There's no way to buy people off from this.
Yeah, I mean, it really struck me. And look, again, let me try to actually hold some balance. Not everything that President Obama wrote in the Medium post was wrong. Mm-hmm. But the thing that really caught me, and honestly, I probably would have not even mentioned it because it's like, it's like, oh, I wrote a Medium post. Like, the jokes write themselves, and, it's ridiculous. And of course, like, okay, President Obama, I'm going to, produce a Spotify series about how people experience all of this. But what really leapt out at me was when he was talking about the rioting and looting in poorer areas. I was just like, statistics show those grocery stores won't come back. I was like, first of all, of course, right. And maybe that should tell you something about how we design our economies.
Right.
And secondly, and actually way more to the point, in a value system that is much closer to President Obama's, it was like, I wonder what a soon-to-be billionaire multimedia producer could do about that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, I mean, the idea that you're supposed to take away from any observation about the economic damage of looting to what? Stop protesting? So you can ensure that the only thing that comes out of this is bad? So you can ensure that all it's going to do is further immiserate people if you stay home?
And I think, that's really important too in terms of where capital can go. Like, what's left is more and more forms of abstraction. Like, we can create more technical products that have IP law, and they could just as easily be open, but they're not. They're going to be closed, and we'll squeeze an artificial profit out of it. Then the other part is like the fucking post office, or take another whack at Social Security. You could juice it up. And then the bottom part is the next, like, genetics revolution. Let's go into the Amazon and, basically like sequence like what remains of ecology for the pharmaceutical industry. Those are really, I mean, those are the only three poles that I see left in terms of like where you can juice some money out of. And those are not going to be distributive, obviously.
Yeah, not at all.
I mean, do you see any other areas?
I mean, like, unless you want to do like, I think it would all be genetic shit, like Oryx and Crake, like, you know, like walking chicken nuggets or something, because that's about it. But who's going to be able to pay for them? Because that's the thing. You can, okay, we got more IP, like, oh, we got these drugs that are like, oh, we can cure your hair loss. It's like, how much will they have to cost to make money? And then who the hell is left with any money to buy anything?
Right.
You just watched a Michael Brooks show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.